Thanks for stopping by the channel. We are going to be talking about Real Housewives of Orange County and the shenanigans and the shenanery and the drama that went down on my timeline. But before we get into that, happy New Year's Eve to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve. If you're going to go out and turn up, please have your mask on, have a DD. If you don't got a DD, call Uber, Lyft, a taxi, whatever, because there's a whole bunch of services out there for you to be safe and still have a good time and turn up. But let's get into this. Kelly and Noelle was putting on a show during Christmas. We about to talk about it. The first person we're going to talk about is Miss Kelly, Miss Kelly Dodd. Kelly Dodd has an ego, and she wanted to stroke her ego, so she hopped on Twitter and she said this: "Wait, wasn't I the ratings problem? Wasn't there a boycott? We got over a million viewers, 14 out of 16 weeks last season, despite the huge competition from the election coverage on the news. This year, hashtag RHOC16, under a million, 3 times in a week." And she said, hey, and she added Andy, at Andy, how's that reboot going? So Andy responded, and Andy says, "Good morning. Reboot is going great. Feels like a return to," I think he meant to say former, but he has form for return to form. I think it's supposed to be return to form. Return to form, RHOC. Look at the delayed numbers, not the live. That's what's measured. So, y'all, basically, Kelly got her throat checked. And then she put, she retweeted this, which was a part of her first statement. And it's from TV Deets, and it says that RHOC's season 16, episode 4, only got 822,000 views. And I got all of this from her Instagram, and I checked Twitter. And the thing about it is, Kelly misses being on RHOC. And you can see it, like, she has, her and her boyfriend have a podcast called Rick and Kelly Unmasked. And it's supposed to be a jab at the establishment about the mask mandate. And the whole time on their podcast, like, what I saw from this little clip was, I thought was really rude and kind of very malice, because I never liked Megan King when she was like, or Edmonds or whatever her the lady name is, when she was on RHOC. But I do think it's kind of messed up for Kelly and her boyfriend or her fiance or whatever that man is to her to be on the internet taking bets to see how long her, and I think it was Joe Biden's nephew or a cousin, that's who Megan was dating, with how long their relationship would last. And the only reason I can guarantee that they were covering that, because Kelly doesn't even know Megan, because I don't even think Kelly and Megan were on the same season, is because she was attached to Joe Biden's, a relative of Joe Biden. And I'm like, you can tell that Kelly is like one of those white ring conservatives who just, she go off the deep end. She really be going off the deep end. She be plunging into nowhere. And that's what got her kicked off of the show, really. What really got her kicked out. A lot of people say, no, she was doing too much, but no. Kelly was good for RHOC, or Real Housewives of Orange County. She was erratic, she was combative, and she had no problem arguing with Vicky and Tamara, who were the big giants on RHOC. So people like Kelly in that regard, because Kelly was nasty, Kelly was rude, she was derogatory, but it was good for TV because she was going after those two. And Vicky and Tamara can be just as nasty as Kelly. The only difference between Vicky and Tamara is they know when to reel it in. Kelly's dumb self don't know when to reel it in. So Kelly was feeling her zhuzh, and she decided to hop on the internet and then got played. Because at the end of the day, Kelly, you're not on the show, and that's where you want to be. That's why you and your boyfriend or fiance or whatever have this podcast, and y'all film the podcast, because you missed the fame. And the real truth is, no one really likes you like that. Like, if y'all get on Housewives Twitter or Housewives TikTok or Instagram, one thing where people can come together is none of the fans really like Kelly like that. Nobody really sees it. I don't even know if Kelly has like stans the way that other housewives who are hated, like Danielle Staubs, have stands. Candace has stands and people get on her all the time. Kenya has stands, and those are supposed to be people who like people love to hate, but no one really genuinely likes Kelly. And I just find it funny that Kelly really got on this internet and was like trying to come at Andy and then got moded like It's Rock says. Cause it's like no one's really looking at those numbers. Networks are looking at the delayed numbers because that's what matters. And that makes sense because people DVR shows, like if you're gonna watch it late, or they go to other streaming platforms like what's on Bravo, because Bravo, you can watch it on Bravo or other like Hulu and things like that. So it's like they probably add all of those up together, and that probably does make 1 million views. So I just thought Kelly looked stupid, and I thought it was funny because she get on my nerves. But on to Noelle and Sweet James, y'all, because they out here tripping. Y'all, Noelle versus Sweet James is giving real two scammers turning on each other for me. So on December the 23rd, no, either the 23rd or on Christmas Eve on the 24th, James decided to post 3 videos to his account. Like he made a new account and it was called The Real James Bergener, or I guess that's how you say his name. And he released 3 videos, 3 of him like trying to defend himself against Noelle. And then Noelle responded on Instagram, and this is what she had to say. So she says, "Today, my ex called me for the first time in 5 months. He asked for my help with his PR. So I guess, public relations. I said, of course. I told him to stop holding up support and get his son a gift for Xmas, a gift for Xmas, that I was going to use my settlement to buy a home for our family, and I publicly thanked him. Hours later, he posted this. I don't know why this is happening. I was very protective of him during filming and focused solely on my journey. After mentioning receipts, no, they are real, criminal and horrifying to relive. So for the sake of our son, I don't ever want them to see the light of day. Happy holidays to single mothers or single moms." And then she put hashtag no gift for Christmas. So then in his video, he had several things that he mentioned. And Noelle basically in this Instagram post decided to refute everything he said. So she said, this is a lie. She said, lie, that I chose the show over our marriage. James wanted me on the show to promote his brand. He was my biggest cheerleader throughout the process. Only after his background check revealed he had lied to me for years about the tax debt did he hesitate. At this point, 4 days before filming, it was too late to pull out, and frankly, the show was the only thing keeping him honest. And so the next thing she said, the next lie, I was going to file for separation, which made him file for divorce. So she says, I retained an attorney with his blessing. He paid the retainer. What James was telling me about his partner's indiscriminate indictment, my bad, y'all. I don't know where the hell indiscriminate came from. So I'll reread it. He said, I retained an attorney with his blessing. He paid the retainer. What James was telling me about his partner's indictment, financial divorce from his ex, his debts didn't make sense to me. I wanted a third party to confirm he was was being truthful. He wasn't, but I still did not file. So the next one was, she said he lied about this. James has paid support. James cut my CCs, which are her credit cards, when he left and emptied my savings. He cut my Venmo, PayPal, which I used to pay our son's therapist. I have sent him invoices, which often pays late, resulting in our son not getting treatment that week. I have a CC number or credit card number on Instacart and Amazon. That is how my family has made it these past months. He has not paid rent, and we're in fear of getting evicted every day. And then she said the next lie was that we divorced. James fraudulently filed for divorce in Puerto Rico due to his tax scheme. It is under appeal since he lied multiple times in his testimony. And the jurisdiction is in California, where residents, where we are residents and we're married. And then you have I guess this is the last lie. James as a dad. James has been in and out of court of OC multiple times in the past 5 months, shooting a commercial, getting Botox, and going out, but hasn't seen his son once seriously. So I believe her. I'll say that. I believe her. I still think it's two scammers scamming, but I believe her. And y'all will understand why I say two scammers scamming when we get to the next part. But I believe her. So before we get into it, shout out to Jamie, that's me. She did a video on this information as well. So y'all should definitely check her out. I love her channel. She funny as I don't know what. But she follows this page on Instagram called the Bravo Docket. And it's basically ran by two attorneys, and they give you the details and the meat and potatoes about the different legal things going on with the different housewives, their legal issues. They had a lot of information about Jen Shah and her stuff. But, excuse me, I wanted to talk about this thread that I found, well, that was on the page. It's one of their newest threads. So definitely check it out. It's called the Bravo Docket, and Jamie, that's me, because she funny as I don't know what. So let's get into this, y'all. So this is why I said it's giving Noelle and Sweet James versus each other. It's giving very much, we're two scammers who are turning on each other for scamming. Like, we scamming each other and we're turning on each other, because you have it on this thread said, according to court documents. So all of this is public record. It says James and Noelle had a very public fake wedding on December the 3rd, 2017, even though James was still married to his wife, his first wife, for 18 years. This would make sense why Noella's mama didn't see it for James, because Noelle said on last episode that her mom didn't like James at first, and it took her a minute to come around. But if the mom knew that he was still married to his first wife, that probably was the main reason why she ain't like him. Which I would agree with mama. Like, why would I be okay with you being with a married man? He's not available to you, and what you're doing to the wife is messed up. So it continues. It says, after their fake wedding, James put $86K on the law firm's Air Max. And if you don't know what an Air Max is, it's a company credit card. And then he was like, it says the law firm's Air Max, traveling to Paris, Dubai, Mulan, Singapore with Noelle as a honeymoon, all while still legally married to his first wife. Then James didn't file for divorce from his first wife until September 28, 2018, more than 9 months after his fake wedding to Noelle. Which is crazy, y'all. Because my thing is, if you're gonna be flying around the world with someone, you might as well divorce the other lady and get with her. It says in 2019, James unexpectedly stopped paying his ex-wife the $40K monthly spousal support payment she had been relying on for her mortgage and taxes. Now, for the wife, that's her fault. The ex-wife, that's her fault. I don't know why y'all be relying on other people for like your financial needs in that capacity. Like, of course she should have got that $40K if that is what's been legally abdicated to her. But I do feel like, girl, that should have been your rainy day fund. Like, all the money he gives you should have went into like a separate account while you're still working, because he seemed like he been sleazy all his life, ma'am. You should have known he was gonna come for you like that or do some shady stuff like that. So the next part of the thread says James and Noelle didn't legally get married until June 28, 2020. And I think that is true, because they showed a picture of Noelle in her wedding dress last episode. And it said on OC, it did say June 2020. So it says, according to news reports, while RHOC was filming in 2021, a federal tax lien was filed against James on June the 3rd, 2021, accusing him of owing the U.S. government tax for the years of 2018 and 2019. The state of California filed its own tax lien July the 7th, claiming James owes $1,000,000 $851,225.04 for both years, amounting his total to a total tax date to $5,896,343.04. They might as well just round this up to $6 million. And mind y'all, I don't get why y'all be playing with the IRS. Like, the IRS won't hunt you down for their money. No matter if it's the state IRS or the government IRS, they gonna get their money either way. So then it says, according to court documents, Noelle also is liable for money too. Like, she owe people money. It says Noelle owes $293,832 and 22 cents for unpaid legal bills for a paternity suit from 2014 to 2018. Mind you, she has an older daughter. Like, it's weird because they don't talk about her daughter, but maybe the father was like, girl, don't mention my daughter on the show. But Noelle only has the son with Sweet James. Her daughter, we don't know who the father is. Like, the father hasn't made himself known. But I guess that's who she was like having this paternity suit with in court. And then they have some stuff about her dad, which we could talk about it, but it says, according to a 2003 news report, Noelle's father was fired from his job as a weatherman for sexual harassment. The same year, her mother entered a guilty plea for transporting stolen goods and filing for a false tax return. It just feels like the whole family just out here scamming and doing things they ain't got no business doing. And then they have like the court documents of like showing like where they got their information from, like actual like court records and stuff. Just to, it's always good to have your sources. Basically, this is just a mess. I don't know if Noelle is gonna come back next season. So far, she's been pretty relevant to Real Housewives of OC, but this is a lot. And I don't know why y'all come on TV thinking that like things about like skeletons in your closet won't come out. Like, because there's actively people who don't like, there's so many people who probably like don't really like you, or like there's just people who hate that will dig and try to find skeletons. We've seen so many celebrities where you have people who dig back like 10 plus years on Twitter to find them saying some dumb stuff to get them canceled. And then with this, I like the whole thing about like all of this stuff came out 4 days before they filmed. I'm just kind of like, wow. Like, what? I don't know if I would continue the show if I was Noelle. But then again, she need the money because like she said, he cut off all her credit cards. So she gonna need this RHOA check. So what are y'all thoughts? Like, I really do feel like to me, the only victims in this are the children. Like, that little boy does need money for his therapy, so his father should be paying for it. Ultimately, the kids are the ones that are the victims. To me, in a sense, Noelle would be a victim, but you can't tell me that, like, she didn't know this man was a sleazeball. Like, you got with him while he was still married to his wife, and it took him 9 months to divorce that lady. And then while you were still with him, he stopped paying her spousal support. Like, you knew all of this. I don't know, ma'am. I don't know. It's giving very like we were scamming together and then the block got too high and James said, I can't do this no more. Let me rush to Puerto Rico. But that's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, y'all, drop down in the comments below. Let me know y'all thoughts. What y'all feeling? And remember to be bravely authentic and be safe out there tonight. And Happy New Year's. And let's go into the New Year's lit. Bye.